insisting my mom choose a side between me and my brother. This happened a few years ago, but is still a major issue in my family. I, 25F, am the youngest and only girl of my siblings. Me and my mom, 50F, live in a different state and decided to visit home, and my oldest brother, 31M, offered to house us with his family. The first night there, my mom went out with some old friends, and my brother and his girlfriend, 32F, asked to hang out with me in their home for the night. After their kids, 4 kids between the ages of 9 months and 12, went to bed, we started drinking and talking about random things, since this was the first time I had actually met this girlfriend and spent time with her. While talking, his girlfriend asked about our childhood and what he was like as a kid. And I answered honestly, he was a bad kid. He ran away. He spiked our mom's boyfriend's drinks with bleach. He fought at school almost daily and was suspended constantly until he dropped out. Something I thought was funny to joke about was not funny to him, and he got angry. Me and his girlfriend laughed it off. We're all very drunk at this point, but I could tell he was getting angrier and angrier. Then he asked me, if I just punched you right now, it wouldn't be funny, would it? Again, drunk me, laughed it off thinking we were just talking about our lives and childhoods. We were not abused or neglected as children, so I truly didn't see this as me laughing at traumatic events or making fun of him. And then in a split second, he punched me, over and over. I remember protecting myself as I fell and getting back up and throwing anything in front of me as I tried to move out of the way. And then I was back on the floor, mouth bleeding, disoriented, and crawling to the couch for help. The kids ran into the room scared and crying, and his 9-month-old was crying hysterically. He was screaming and yelling at his girlfriend, "It's not funny, it's not funny," as she tried to calm him down. He even saw me on the couch crying and bleeding and threw a cup of alcohol in my face and called me a bitch. And then he said, "I hope you know you're gonna fucking die tonight." I remember running into the bathroom and locking the door, and I heard him searching desperately for a knife in the kitchen drawer. I called my mom as I hysterically cried and told her he was gonna kill me, and she begged me to open a window and run. He began banging on the door, describing how he was going to stab me, gut me, as I tried to open the window. I think I even accepted at this point I was dead and just pondering how it would feel. And then he stopped. I waited and realized my mom had begun breaking down the door to get to me because he was looking for a new knife to kill me with. After this, I went to the hospital, and although I had no broken bones, I was bleeding and my entire face was bruised and cut. I pressed charges against him, and after almost 3 years, he was caught on a separate charge, and now the case is moving forward this month. My mom, in her opinion, has tried to stay neutral, but I think in her way of staying neutral, she has taken his side. She has told me that being beat was a consequence of saying rude things to him, and that I've already won because he's been in jail for months and should drop these charges since he's facing other criminal charges. Yesterday, I blew up and cried and told her she was stupid and dumb for ever suggesting that I get over this, and I can't believe she would want to be neutral and not take my side. She hung up the phone and we have not talked since. I feel like I might be TA because I don't have kids and I don't understand what she might be going through having to choose between us. It's also important to mention my brother has previously been diagnosed with a mental illness and has done violent behavior like breaking windows, stealing, going on car chases from police, and fighting before, so I feel like our family has become so immune to his behavior that me pressing the issue and demanding accountability is making everyone uncomfortable. But I also feel like her seeing what I looked like after he beat me, hearing me describe what it felt like and how it has damaged me, I've been diagnosed with PTSD and anxiety, should automatically make her take my side and support my decision to take this to court. For context, a few years ago, my older brother beat me violently during a drunken conversation, to the point that I thought I was going to die. My mother has stated that I shouldn't testify against him and that I'm TA for making her pick between us when she's supposed to be neutral. As the trial started approaching, my family started pressuring me heavily to back out. My mom told me that I should let this go because my brother has suffered enough by losing his girlfriend, his kids, and facing time in jail for other charges. She says I'm pushing too hard and that my testimony will send him to prison rather than letting him finish his time in jail even though I didn't ask for jail time. I requested a plea deal that focused on probation, a mental health evaluation, and mandatory medication adherence. I just wanted him to get help, and even that was too much. She also told me I'm contributing to what Black men go through, which feels incredibly manipulative, considering she has never once asked me what I need to heal or how this has affected me. Everything is about my brother, his image, and how to keep him out of prison, not about what I experienced or what helps me feel safe. My brother had someone post on social media about him getting released soon, not happening, and my mother commented and said, "Can't wait for you to be home soon." So a side was clearly chosen here, and it's not mine. And then it got worse. My mom, father, and grandmother have all reached out trying to get me to drop the case. My father, mind you, this is my father, not my brother since we're half siblings, told me it's not like your brother molested your kids or killed your husband, as if those are the only two scenarios that justify testifying. He said I'm ruining the family and making myself look bad by going forward. Then I found out my mom gave my father the name of my prosecutor without telling me, and they emailed the prosecutor pretending I had changed my mind about testifying, because it wasn't really a big deal. Thankfully, the prosecutor reached out to confirm, and I told him it wasn't true. Trial was this morning, and my brother decided to plead guilty and ask for time served, and I was not allowed to testify. I felt like it was another thing he stole from me. My mental health, my feelings of safety, the love from my family, and now he took my moment of confrontation. However, he's back in jail because he is still awaiting sentencing for 11 other charges and facing decades in prison. I called my mother afterwards and told her I didn't testify, and that I knew she emailed the prosecutor. She denied and said she had nothing to do with it, but was happy my father did it nonetheless. She said I sided with the system and contributed to another Black man in jail and should be ashamed of myself, and then hung up. I texted her and said I still loved her, and I wish that one day we can go back to being best friends again because I miss her. She hasn't responded. So much for neutral, right? Thank you for all the kind words and everyone who told me they had been through something similar. My brother has taken so much from me, and I feel alone, defeated, and empty. Part of me is happy this is over, but the cost of my family is something I never even considered when he attacked me 3 years ago. I don't know how I will pick up the pieces or get through this immense sadness, but I will try.